Hi, my name is Christiana Reed, and Chapter 18 discusses the positive punishment procedures that include punishment by application of aversive activities and the punishment by applications of aversive stimulation. And then it continues on about the ethics of punishment. For this assignment, I decided to talk more on punishment by application of aversive activities, which, defined by the book, is the consequence in a positive punishment procedure in which, contingent on the undesirable behavior, the client is required to engage in an aversive activity to decrease the future probability of the undesirable behavior. Basically saying, as a consequence to their actions, they're to engage in an activity that they don't want to do to help lower that undesirable behavior to come up again in the future. So, during this, like, the client or person will try to elope or avoid escape said activity, leading to physical guidance when needed at times to avoid them from leaving said punishment. And over time, it will lead the person to stop doing the actions that led them to receive the positive punishment in the first place. And there are four main types that were discussed in the book: overcorrection, contingent exercise, guided compliance, and physical restraint. But for this, I'm going to focus on the contingent exercise, which involves requiring a client to engage in a physical exercise that's unrelated to the behavior that occurred, and it serves as a consequence to decrease the likelihood of the behavior from reoccurring again. And since the exercise is something the client finds aversive, it effectively functions as a positive punishment procedure. So I'm going to give a little backstory before I give my example. So when I worked as an RBT, I had a client who struggled with emotional regulation and how to managing his frustrations during peer interactions and playtime in his table sessions. So this often resulted in disruptive behaviors such as flipping tables, throwing objects, grabbing things from his peers, and eloping. And after discussing this with his BCBA, how other punishment procedures weren't producing the desirable results, she suggested that we implemented the contingent exercise. And her reasoning was that he had excessive energy that might benefit from the structured physical outlet to help him regulate and calm down when these behaviors occurred. So into the example part now. So during playground time with his peers, if another kid was playing with the toy that he preferred, he would immediately run over and aggressively snatch it. He wouldn't ask for a turn or wait or anything. He would just go and snatch it. So my intervention involved would be immediately approaching him and escorting him away from the playground to go for a brief walk around the facility. He disliked having to go for a walk and would express his frustration, leading to having a little breakdown and start screaming while we're walking during this contingent exercise. And then after he completed the walk, I'll explain to him that taking items without asking or pushing friends would result in immediately having to go for a walk. And so following consistent implementations of this contingent exercise procedure over a few sessions, this problematic behavior decreased tremendously, and it eventually stopped occurring. Okay, well, that's all. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great night.